Hello and welcome to Eat, Pray, and Live. Today we are talking about ego. Do you have a sense of self, or are you a jackass? Find out if your ego is in control.
Oh, wow.
It's too big, it's too wide, it's too strong, it won't fit, it's too much, it's too tough. He talk like this cause he can back it up. He got a big ego.
Such a huge ego.
I love his big ego. It's too much.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, that was a good sound.
She was killing it in this.
Never seen this video.
I love this. Is my favorite Beyonce song.
Really?
No, this is from forever ago.
And I like Kanye's remix.
Yes.
Yeah. We
It was
can.
2007, man.
Queen.
Or 2008.
She's been queening for so long.
Come on, Stacey, we can do that. We need a fan now.
No, did she break it down? Just the piano through there, the bridge is just on the piano.
Hey, yes.
Ego.
Too big, it's too
Hey.
wide,
It's too much. It's too strong.
Hey.
Big ego.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cut.
Right. Love.
All right. How you living? How is everyone?
Good.
How are you guys?
Oh my goodness, I almost passed out. I came in today and who did I see?
What?
Me.
Stacey was your first?
Hey now.
Yes, she was.
I don't
Yes,
think
she
that they weren't asking all those questions, so let's move on.
Yeah,
Let's
she
move
was.
on. Elevation is happening. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay.
Kudos to
Yeah.
you.
But even when you're late, Stacey, you're on time because you're so early. Like that last time, you were so early.
That was so
Yeah.
Yeah,
petty.
we were like, you're supposed to be here 30 minutes ago.
She just
You're like,
sitting in
what?
the car.
I'm right here.
That was really dumb.
That's
not bad.
That
That's
was
not
really
bad.
dumb.
Well, let's get it popping. Demetrius, take the how you live in the first segment. 'Cause this is, yeah.
Okay. Okay, everybody.
But let me pour. Wait a minute. I got to pour some out for the homies. For the homies. Okay, go ahead, Demetrius. We didn't mean to stop you
Okay,
with
so
your
so
tracks.
look, you all. Our show today is about ego, and this particular incident happened with the rapper Party Next Door. I don't know if you all are familiar with him.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
affiliated with Drake and Jeremiah, the R&B singer. They were on tour for Live Nation, and it appears that Jeremiah will no longer be a part of the tour after he came upon the stage and said Jeremiah and not Jeremiah, Party Next Door and his crew are a bunch of bitches. And he went on to further berate them and say he don't even want to be on the stage. He'd rather go out and kick it with the audience. Then he went out to the audience and he kicked it with them. Jeremiah
What?
allegedly believed that he should co-headline the tour rather than being a opening act for Party Next Door.
So did his ego get the best of him? or-
Yes, you're an idiot. Sorry.
Go
You
ahead.
go ahead,
Go
girl.
ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
Tell us how you really feel, Courtney.
You signed the
That
contract.
was gonna be like, you knew what you were doing,
You
right?
knew what you were signing on
Crazy.
for. Like, why are you suddenly brand new talking about, oh, well, I have more hits, and you should have negotiated that while you were in contract stage.
Absolutely.
Like, why, and then why are you going to do that on stage? You look foolish. And Jeremiah with no A.
It's
I
Jeremiah.
spelled that wrong. It's just
No,
Jeremiah.
It's Jeremiah.
It's Jeremiah.
Yes, it's Jeremiah.
It's Jeremiah. Okay, it's Jeremiah.
Well, this is not the first R&B.
But wait, we can't just move on from that because she said.
Okay.
Because I was
I don't
hostile.
necessarily disagree with Jeremiah's contention that he should have co-headlined the tour. Arguably, he has more hits and a following that's more likely to come out and buy tickets. But Party Next Door, I think him and Jeremiah might be equal, and I do understand his frustration. I don't know what else happened during the tour. If we are to take him at his word, he needed to come out and say something. But Courtney makes a very good point
Contract.
that he
yeah.
should have negotiated beforehand.
Absolutely.
But I'm thinking the audience, that is ego. The audience doesn't need to know
But that's not bad
bad
ego.
stuff.
Sometimes your ego can help you like that.
that. Well,
It should have helped you in the boardroom when you signed the contract. You should have been like, oh no,
Yes.
I got 12 hits, he only got 10. Sign me up. Like, why are you doing that on stage?
ain't no
with me?
room for ego once the contract
I
is
came
signed.
from the show. Like, I didn't come to hear that.
And that's the thing. You're kind of disrupting the audience's flow and coming to pay for tickets just to find out about your backhand drama.
That's like when your mama talk about your daddy. It just makes you feel bad.
You know, it's like, just keep that to yourself or call your friend. Shoot.
Yeah, I don't want to know that.
That's hilarious.
That's an interesting comparison. But hey, Ree, you were going to say something though.
No, because we're talking about, R&B. That's cute. I saw that. Somebody wrote that in their blog. And I was like, that's cute,
Right.
R&B. So this is not the first R&B.
No, it's not.
It goes back to R. Kelly and Jay-Z, remember?
They made me so mad.
Oh,
They made me so mad.
No.
What were your feelings?
No. That's bullshit.
What?
They did not make you mad. That was not Jay-Z's fault.
No, I don't blame Jay-Z.
Okay, so then you need to say R. Kelly made you mad. That's what you need to say.
What did R. Kelly do? I read the story. What did he do? This was for the unfinished
He
business.
ruined the party, man.
First,
tour.
hey, look,
like-
first off, Jay-Z was nothing but classy throughout that entire thing. After it happened, Jay-Z was immediately interviewed, I believe, by Angie Martinez.
Okay.
Jay-Z could have talked about the reasons why the first tour ended. He didn't. Instead,
Okay.
he's like, he went through his thing. Now we're doing it again. Some nights he has a good show. Some nights I have a good show. But he said that R. Kelly, in that instance, was an egomaniac. And I believed him. But he said it in such a classy way that you knew it was not Jay-Z. And this is not the first time R. Kelly had problems with somebody on tour.
But isn't that a part of his genius and his greatness?
Hell no.
Hey, look.
Yeah, I would
It
say.
might be, but when you got a ticket to the show and then they jacking it up and messing it up and can't do it and all that, like,
Now,
your ego
Put the
sucks.
picture of Jay-Z and R. Kelly.
Epic
up,
fail.
please.
We was just trying to be a part of the fiesta and you messed it up.
R. Kelly was allegedly locked himself in his trailer, wouldn't come out. Jay-Z is, I think they say he was
Being a
knocking at the
queen.
trailer saying,
No,
"Come
Come
on."
on, dude.
But you know there are all kind of
That's
stories that are floating
crazy.
around.
Well, there's another one though.
But you know they maced him.
Allegedly.
I forgot
But do you
about
remember the other person R. Kelly toured with,
And then,
where the
wait a
tour got
minute,
canceled?
And then Jay-Z, and I love
was another
Jay-Z.
one?
Love R.
Yes.
Kelly, but they
Yes.
went out. R. Kelly went out. They were in New York. Talk about, he ain't for you. So he basically did the same thing as this party next door, Jeremiah. He took it to the audience. Why do we need to know?
Because you need to know it's about to be canceled and it's not my fault. Jay-Z did the right thing. He needed to
That's
say
not
that.
classy.
So why do you think he did
that's
the right
important.
thing and Jeremiah didn't?
Well, because with Jeremiah and Party Next Door, it seems like the beef was more so about a co-headlining thing rather
Versus
than somebody
like a-
not coming out on stage.
Right.
The other person R. Kelly toured with back in the day, and I was like, I cannot find this on the internet, but I remember this. LL Cool J.
Oh, what happened?
Oh.
Allegedly.
You should have called me on that. I could have got some inside information.
No, I didn't even want to say nothing because it appears like they're cool. They made a song together recently, so they squashed it. But back in the day, LL was touring with R. Kelly together, and from what I remember, there was some beef where the tour ended, and I thought R. Kelly probably only needs to tour with women. So when R. Kelly and Jay-Z had a tour, I was like, this ain't gonna make it. Because he, in my opinion, from what I've seen, I was like, I don't think he gets along with headlining acts that are either rappers or men.
Because I'm thinking, like, what would be the difference if it was a woman if he still had the same ego?
Because I think
Like,
he toured with
if it's an
somebody
ego thing.
else that was a woman and there weren't any problems
that we know of.
that we know.
But this
Right.
is telling. Look the photo, unfinished business, which really is what it was. The concert, the whole concert got canceled. And their heads are so big that they couldn't film both.
They couldn't get their whole face.
That's funny.
On both of them.
Like, I don't know. That's kind of. I think it's risky when you take two superstars and you try to put them on one bill in one show. Do you think that there's destined to be some issues?
But it's just like putting 5 stars in a huge movie. I mean, don't they do that all the time?
Jay-Z toured with Kanye successfully.
They
The
do
one
it.
that
They're
pulled
doing
it
a lot
off
more
was, like, Ocean's
recently.
11 was sort of like something that pulled that off with like
True.
all A-list actors.
Yes.
But they, okay, so you're saying A-list. Because I was saying all like, just like pretty big names. Like, I mean, Almost Christmas that just came out was like Gabby, Donna Glover, like, Monique. There's so many
No, that's
names.
gonna
Kimberly
make it.
Elise.
No, we knew that was
Yeah, that
gonna
was
be
all
fun.
right.
Because they're
Yeah.
what? Family black?
Black people, yeah. they're
Because they
black.
want the work.
And they want the money, yeah. So
No, but that's not a shade. Like that's like they
shade.
want the work.
That ain't a shade. I don't know what it is. Don't shade me. If that ain't a shade.
I'm like, Lord, if it comes to me.
I don't feel like they were gonna let that no bullshit come between them and they.
But why
Well,
wouldn't it apply to like Ocean's 11?
they didn't let anything come between them
Right,
either.
right,
Like they
right.
and people said that they took because like at that point like 3 of them were $20 million takers and they couldn't give everybody $20 million.
Right.
So people compromised to take that film, but
Demetrius, why you
it didn't
laugh?
work.
Because I'm thinking about being the producer on Almost Christmas. And I was like, who tripping? Because I'm like, let me go down my let me do a Google search. I'll replace any one of y'all.
Like Gabby, what's an eye? Forget you.
Oh my God. That's so.
I was like, I wish I would get that call.
That's
That's
horrible.
Somebody
So
tripping.
back to ego. What do you? How do you define it? What do you think ego? When somebody says ego, this person has a big ego. What does that mean to you? Or
Self-
this person has an ego.
I think it's self-centered. When I was looking at the notes, I was trying to figure out, because you had an ego versus confidence too, and I know that I stand very hard on confidence, but I think that when you are a confident person, you also like to share confidence, and confidence is contagious, and you want to empower other people's confidence, versus ego, that's all about serving who you are and what you bring to the table, and it doesn't really matter if other people can see it or care about it or whatever. I think that's, to me, the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Demetrius?
When I think about ego, I think it's just a sense of self. I don't want to get deep into the psychology. I don't see it as a negative.
Huge negative, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
negative or positive. It's just various degrees, and depending on where you fall on that scale.
Yes.
You know.
So we all have ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
need to. It's a self-awareness.
Yeah.
It's a consciousness of self as it relates to the world and separate from you. It's an awareness of myself.
Yeah.
However, when that gets out of line,
Yeah.
it can create a lot of issues and a lot of problems. What's the difference, Courtney? Stacey said, I like to be confident. And sometimes confidence can spill over
Exactly.
into, look at this, I don't know if you
Oh,
call
that's
that a meme.
interesting.
I love it.
That's interesting. I
like
love
that.
that. Me too. Wow,
It's the
I
little
love that.
kitty cat looking in the mirror and seeing a lion.
Right.
Is
I don't think
that,
that's ego.
Okay, but let me tell you what's funny. When I Googled ego and images, this is what came up under ego. So sometimes it is seeing yourself in a way that elevates you above everybody else. The same meme came up with self-confidence. Pull that up.
Interesting.
How crazy is that? So the same meme comes up in a positive light, because obviously when we say somebody has an ego, we all have egos. We don't mean that in a positive way. Yeah. We mean that, they're a little arrogant, they think too highly of themselves. This one says what matters most is how you see yourself. Do you agree with that statement? Because,
I think for
yes.
I think 90%, yeah, because if you don't have that confidence or you don't have that ego or if you don't have that whatever, trust me, no one else is gonna care. I feel like,
But how do you keep it in check? So it doesn't, because you
Yeah,
definitely
there's-
want to see yourself in a way that, boosts your confidence and your self-esteem so that you can, do life and do it effectively, because life gets difficult. So how do you do it in a way that you're not thinking too highly of yourself?
well, I think compassion is a part of that, because I love this. I love whatever's coming out of your mouth. I love that. So I'll just quickly, I just think for me, faith, family, and compassion are part of like dimming all that down. My family has no problem being like, baby girl, take that trash out. We don't care that you interviewed blah, blah, blah this week. You know what I mean? Like every time I'm home, you're checked. And even, and that means every time I come back, I'm staying checked. Plus, like, I know what I was given, and if you know where you came from and where you're going, there's in between that's like humble, because
Humility.
you didn't get any of this by yourself.
Yeah.
No one. And then compassion comes into seeing everybody's different world and understanding that what your privilege is.
Do you think, I'm going to ask you a specific question, do you think that you can be confident, can you avoid being egotistical if there's no God in your life? Because you were saying it's humility and faith-based. You said, you know, I know that you have a relationship with the Lord. Can somebody do it without having that connection?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I don't know other people's experiences, so I don't want to say you can't do it. I definitely think it's possible, but I think maybe it's a harder journey. Maybe you don't see it as often. I mean, it's a daily, I die daily. Like, it's a thing I know of. I don't want to say that it's, I can't speak for everyone. So,
I think that's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
there's so many people that don't have like a religion, so I'm not going to say they can't.
If you're an atheist, because it's almost like you're saying, well, you feel humble because you feel like there's something greater than you. Hell, that could be the earth. That could be a car somebody made. It could be anything. I don't think you need a religion to instill that in you. Anyone can have that. It's simple.
Because it's still a human thing that we talk about. I do understand
My
that.
train of thought was humility, to be humble, and she was saying to be grateful and thankful. Who are you thankful to?
You don't have to.
Some people are just thankful to the universe and the process.
Well, we're just thankful overall because
I could be somewhere else. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to be in the position that I'm in.
just the fact that they get it randomly or by luck
if
or
they believe
whatever.
in
just
luck,
thank
But
yeah.
I
you.
would think that even that is a spiritual experience.
Not
If you want
That's
some
still
people,
spiritual.
not for
When you
atheists,
talk
it's
about-
not.
Yeah.
But you think atheists contribute things to the universe?
Yeah, I think they believe in laws of attractions and things like that without necessarily believing in God being some all-power being that's making it happen.
Or they can attribute it to other human beings.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is
Come on, what you gonna say?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say because I know I have a humongous ego. I think my ego's probably bigger
I
than
don't like how you
Kanye's.
talk about yourself sometimes. Because I know you, and I'm like,
No,
do you have a huge ego?
Yes. It's
Am I missing like so
ridiculously
much? Like,
Is it a bad thing though? If
No.
we said you have a huge ego, you wouldn't take that as an insult.
No.
Interesting.
Okay.
But I know
I know.
because I know how to keep it in check. But if y'all heard like half of the stuff that goes on in my head or how I see myself,
yourself, yeah.
Oh my God! Like one thing I will say, if I'm dating someone, this is the only thing that I thought about this when we were discussing this. I was like, the one thing that I don't want my woman to ever think or say. I was like, you can say somebody's got more money than me. You can say they're better in bed than me. The only thing that I honestly care about when I really break it down, you can never say that anyone is smarter than me.
Oh.
That's it.
that's so interesting.
I was like, that's the only thing I care about. And the times that I've dated someone and they're like, oh my God, I know such and such. If it's somebody we know, like, yeah, he's really smart or whatever, I get a little like.
Were you
thanks,
words
man.
of
That's
affirmation?
interesting.
Is that your
Yes.
love language? Words of affirmation was your top?
Yeah.
Let me ask you though, because what's interesting is why do you say a big ego versus I just have a lot of self-confidence?
Because I know what I have confidence about, and I know when ego kicks in. Where it's
What's
like
the difference?
confidence is like my belief and my ability to do X, Y, and Z. But ego is how I see myself. Like okay, there's no skill or whatever involved in her saying like, oh, I think that this guy is smart. She's not saying like, oh, I think he can put a phone together better than you or whatever. But there's a sense of myself of who I am that's being not attacked, but it's being
That you feel
challenged
you
in
need
a
to
way.
protect
Where I'm
and
like, no,
guard.
my
Yes.
ego can't handle that.
Gotcha.
So is it?
Gotcha.
So it's a comparison-based situation. So like, I'm self-confident as long as it's about me here, but I'm not comparing myself or placing myself above other people. I just know in my confidence or in my personal ego space that I can do anything I want. But once I extend that beyond and say, but she could never be better than me at this, or she can never be
That's
better
the
than me at
ego
that.
thing.
That's the ugly part of ego.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
I-
Because it's just a weird.
it's such
Yes. Yes.
it's a line.
I'm gonna
Because
read
I
a
don't think I
quote.
have a big ego at all, and I actually was told I don't have a big enough ego,
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
that's
see
why
that.
some things did not
Yep, I can see
occur
that.
because of me. Because I don't have a I don't really think I have an ego very much at all, which surprises some people. But like, I think it's accurate.
That's interesting.
I don't think it doesn't really surprise me. Like, I think that makes sense. You don't operate like but also I don't think you I don't know. Okay, maybe.
I promise you I do.
Let me read this quote.
Okay.
I promise you.
I don't know why I'm like
I want to read this quote from Ryan Holiday, who is an author, an advisor, and a media strategist. He said, "Don't confuse real confidence for ego. There is a clear distinction between real confidence and ego. It's important to believe in yourself and have confidence in who you are, but true confidence is based on an objective look at your strengths and abilities. Taking stock in your competency is different from being arrogant or cocky. When you let your ego take over, you are accepting dangerous delusions that can cause you to act with reckless abandon." Holiday said, "Ego is stolen, but confidence is earned."
Okay.
That's a good.
That's a good
like
breakdown.
That.
I like that. I like that because
So you still think
Why
you have
are
a
you
big ego
smirking?
based on that definition?
Yes.
You dumb. You just dumb.
So you feel like you make like it's
that.
reckless and you like you are that level in terms of your ego.
I have done things that have been reckless, but based on my ego. But they turned out okay because I put it in check. But it's some shit that I'm like, you should not be doing this. Now I'm like, no, I got to do it. But also as an attorney, or I'd say attorneys and doctors, sometimes you have to approach things where it's like, man, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I got to do it. So what should I do so I do know what the hell I'm doing?
I think that's humility.
Yeah.
No, I really do. Because sometimes your ego, one of the things I think that, and I wanted to hear you guys on this too, is what are some of the red flags of having a big ego? But before we get there, I want to talk about this. When Trump calls...
really?
Yes, we do.
can't believe you
When
did.
Trump calls Taiwan, is having an ego a prelude to success? Because some of the most successful people are egotists. Like they are egomaniacs. You got Steve Jobs, who clearly was an egotist, but you know, and it's very, very successful in business, but a lot of times the common denominator is they suck at relationships. And they've been married several times, they suck at relationships. So what did you think about that? And we won't stay on him long, but I had a co-producer, not only did I produce and Demetrius, but we had another contribution.
You ain't gonna say who?
Shout out T. Fletch. Shout out T. Fletch. So he put this in there, and I'm like, okay, Demetrius is gonna love that. He thought that was just so freaking arrogant.
I didn't have a problem with it, honestly.
Really? You didn't think it was arrogant?
No, I thought it was a signal to China that didn't have much teeth to it, that he could do this to what's the word that I'm looking for? He could do this because he said he would do things like this as far as shaking things up without actually causing much harm. So, no, I didn't mind it. I can't believe I'm
It
defending
was a
Donald
bark,
Trump.
not a bite.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I'm going to do this just to tweak them a little.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it.
Courtney, you don't want to. She don't want to say nothing.
I just.
I mean, it is a talk show.
I'm glad you said what you said about it.
I was saying, I think so too.
And I will receive that because my first I just rolled my eyes when I heard it happen, and then I was like, it seemed very ill-informed and a waste of time and unnecessary and just like another reason to get press and news and to be talked about. But you saying that makes me at least sort of give it a different slight energy, like maybe, okay, yeah, because he did say he was gonna come for China and he wants to come for China, and I respect that a little bit.
You want to know the
actually.
sad part, though? He gonna keep doing stuff like this until he does something that really does have
As
teeth.
others.
So,
Do you think this is an example of ego overriding general responsibility?
with Donald Trump,
This
that's
particular
anything he does,
does.
any and everything,
Yeah,
any
he
and
does.
everything. So
we do agree he's egotistical.
he's I
Oh
think
my
he's
gosh,
I think he's a
yeah.
borderline lunatic. I really do.
Narcissist.
And it's like his sister said, well, you know, I knew growing up or something, if you were going to go against him, he was going to win. Yeah, because he's crazy.
Oh.
He's crazy.
I'm not saying because he's crazy. I think that you could literally lie it around ego and be like,
Yeah.
I don't.
What are the signs? Because that brings us into our next train of thought and segment is what are the red flags to someone having a huge ego?
Reckless disregard for other people.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because he has reckless disregard for an entire
Yes.
nation of people.
Were you just thinking about yourself?
Yes.
It's how you look and how you come off.
Which is strange though, because he still comes off insane and but that's okay. So I feel like it's like the worst contradiction mindfuck ever. Like whatever, we're not talking about Trump no more.
It's an abuse of power and privilege. And
Well, and he does things that aren't in his interest.
That's true.
That's the weird. That's what makes him so
Baffling.
baffling.
Do
Yeah.
you see this illustration? It's really interesting. You guys kind of take a gander at it. Ego and soul. This illustration shows that the ego is the head voice. You know how like those when you see movies and they have the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder. It's kind of
wanna
this
take a
like
picture of
ego
that.
is self.
Yeah.
I can send it to you, girl.
Because that's beautiful.
Ego is. Well, now we
zoom
can
in. Now I can
look
read
to-
it.
Yes, so ego is coldness, blame, anger, pride, what separation, self-importance, and what do we have for what was the other one? Heart, soul.
Yeah.
The other one coming from the heart is sympathy, forgiveness, unity, tolerance.
So my thing is, okay, because of where we live and what we all do, we understand and see both of these sides pretty much every day. And I was
Yes.
just talking to you guys about off screen.
Yeah.
But don't you have those? I battle
And
with
that's what
those
I'm saying. I
every
was like,
day.
But
wait,
everybody does.
This is my
power
daily battle.
and complain and self-importance and sometimes acting like a victim, knowing, okay, girl, it was not your fault. I mean, it was
This
not
is the
somebody else's
battle.
fault. It was your fault, but you do the victim thing for a day or two. Well, all these things, I think, wow. Thank you for
Isn't
this
it all
humility
that
moment.
it's all on a spectrum, and it's a matter of extremes are what become the issue. If you're
Exactly.
extremely one end and you're extremely
Exactly.
the other one, like that's when there's a problem.
Well,
So
would
my-
it be a problem if you were extreme on the soul side? Would
Yes.
that be?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
then you're not living rooted in reality. Like all this.
She nailed that.
I think so. I think
I totally disagree with that.
Well, my friend had told me that, a couple days ago we had lunch, and he said
totally disagree
he's
with
known me
that.
for 5 years, and he said, wow, like life obviously beat you up a little bit because now you have an edge. He was like, when we went to college, you were all about bunnies and fairies. I said, was I now? He said, wow, you just got a little edgy. I like it. I said, this is, and I think he just meant like you opened up. I don't know
But
to the reality
sometimes that
of.
can be a no disrespect to you, but that can just be ignorance. Like you just don't really know the world.
Maybe I was young,
You know what
18,
I mean? Like,
22.
and you just
yeah.
believe the best in everything.
Yeah.
You're not being realistic, but I think you can live in that space.
You cannot. Sheree knows
You
that I
cannot.
think that she has one of the most interesting egos I have ever encountered because you never know
I'm a
what's
work in
going to hit it. And we've had conversations. where I'm
Yeah,
like,
I like that, though.
That's
That's
what
true.
bothers you about that? And she's like, I was like, that ain't nothing. I'm watching it like
that's-
TV. That ain't nothing but ego right there. That ain't nothing. I'm just like this. That's my camera, right? I'm just like this. That ain't nothing but ego.
So funny.
That ain't nothing but ego. Look
I
at
do
her.
have
Look
an
at her
ego.
go.
I do.
Oh God.
I do. Yes,
and it's
I
about
do.
it's
Yes, I
about the
do.
craziest shit. She got the ego about the craziest
So do we
shit.
think that like, okay, so with the
Give me an
celebrity.
example. I want an example.
Well,
Go
no,
ahead.
your example. Well, I have an example based on what we were talking about last week, but I don't
Okay.
want to talk about what we were talking about last week. But I love how, like, based on the conversation, we were talking about love and relationships or whatever, just us as a panel. And I presented an idea to you, and you were like, nuh-uh, girl, he's not the one based on one thing, but the other
Yes.
thing, you were like, oh, that's cute. I'm like, I'm confused. I was shocked, but I liked it because it was interesting. It was like I got to see a couple different sides.
I must admit that was a very
That was my
fascinating
example. That was
conversation.
really funny.
I really wish we had recorded that
I know,
conversation because
right?
it was actually amazing.
It was,
Like,
amazing.
It was
I learned
amazing.
so much from
I'm
you guys.
complex. Yes.
I like it, though.
I do. On the way here, I said to Demetrius, what did I say? Shoot. I said something about being complex. I said, I'm still understanding.
I'm still
getting
trying to
know
understand
myself.
myself. I'm complex, and I was like, so you don't understand yourself. And so I'm like, how does a man go figure you out if you don't understand
not
yourself?
Totally. How can, let me ask you this. How can you ever get to the place where you have completely figured yourself out? I think that's
Give me a percent.
That's probably
How much have you figured
egotistical.
out? How much have you figured out?
You
about
never
yourself?
get to that place, guys,
You
or
know
you're
what?
dead.
I think I've figured out maybe about 82%.
Okay, that's not bad.
I think the majority
not
I
bad.
kind of understand, but we're always evolving.
Working, yeah.
We're always changing. We're always
Yeah,
faced
that's
with new
true.
situations
That's true.
that show us a different part of who we are, where we are.
Yeah.
Because I can be in one place right now. Don't catch me next week.
So does that mean you don't have yourself figured out in the current space,
Or like as a
or
whole?
is
No,
it just that you've because that doesn't sit on me. I don't know what that, because for me I feel like as of today I got myself pretty figured out. That doesn't mean that something new won't come at me tomorrow and that will require some growth or some change or some new
No.
understanding.
I
But
don't-
that doesn't mean like in this current skin I'm in, I don't feel like I have myself figured out.
I don't
Is
have
that-
myself figured out. Especially, and I'm thinking specifically when it comes to relationships.
Okay,
You're way more simple
I guess
than she is.
I'm not that complex.
No, you're not Courtney. And I don't mean that as a slight. I'm like, no.
I'm okay.
Courtney's pretty straightforward.
Like more black and white.
Yeah, Sheree's
Yeah.
like gray and blue and pink.
I'm dead.
Well, I'm an
dead.
artist. I
Right.
have many shades of.
Here we see.
That's
why
always
she
the like throwback. I'm
she
an
want to
artist.
exist in that heart.
artist
That heart,
too.
heart,
That's so
heart
funny.
space.
Right, I'm like, Court's an artist too.
I do strive for the heart.
I do not.
But she says she could live just in the heart.
should
Like that's
live
a
it.
big.
That's
a
the
big
goal.
deal.
No,
That is the goal.
But like
That's the
If that
goal.
was the goal, then why were we also given the other one?
And why would he have aspirations or careers or goals or any of that or
that's
pushing?
a whole religious kind of spiritual conversation. But I
Sure.
think that
That's a good
we
point.
are always to strive for the good. We're always trying to better ourselves, to elevate ourselves,
But I
to
thought
believe the best.
But the ego.
Wait,
not bad.
our producer is putting up dualism.
I like it.
The division of something conceptually
Into two opposed or
contrasting.
Yeah.
contrasted.
Contrasted of being so
So
divided. You saying I'm
Yeah.
crazy?
No, everybody's got a
No,
duality.
everybody's yeah, definitely.
That's it.
My,
You're not
We
like
have the
Donald Trump
spirit.
crazy, though.
No,
No.
but we have the spirit and we have the flesh, and we wrestle.
Yeah,
We wrestle
for
against the two.
sure.
We wrestle against doing what we know to be the right thing. I think no matter what you believe, no matter what your religious beliefs are, if you believe in a God, if you don't, there is a moral code and law on your heart, and you intrinsically know right from wrong.
That's your
And I think
sociopath. You don't really.
I think we're always striving
Yeah,
to
what
be.
about
They don't care.
No,
They just
no,
do
no,
it.
no, no.
know.
That's,
Were they born
that's,
that way?
That's not true.
They don't.
Oh, that's another show, Lord have mercy.
That is,
I know.
because I read a movie
So
with
my,
Nick
my,
about
my
psychopaths.
quick question is, when it comes to like the celebrity world and whatever, and like somebody who is huge and has done a lot of stuff, and we put them on a certain pedestal, and then they require certain things. Like, let's say before I come to the show, I need 50,000. I need that. Okay, let's say I need 5 million. I need this. I need 4 buses. I need blah blah blah. Is that ego? Or is that qualification? Is that credentials? Is that what is that?
I think that's what you're talking about, demanding a certain price.
Kind of. Like, I'm
That's
just in
knowing
that
your self-worth.
I know your worth, and I think
So
it's
it's
also
That's not what Stacey's
perspective.
talking about. Stacey's
Is
being
it-
sweet. That's not what she's talking
What
about.
you talking about?
She's
Oh,
talking
you're talking
about.
about
Let's talk about Mariah
writers.
Carey. Yeah.
All right, let's bring in
But
Mariah.
that's still perspective.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, does this conversation apply to those worlds where like we all, if you're doing this show, we're all kicking on this show, we get picked up for season 2, blah 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 blah. We're going to require something different, right? Is that our ego? Is that our self-worth? Is that our
It
what is
depends
that?
on
Is
what
that our
that
confidence?
is. It depends on what you require. Because yes, a lot of it is ego.
Just because I don't
Yes.
want white M&Ms in my bowl doesn't mean I have a
that's
big
ego.
Why? But I don't like white M&Ms.
How do you not know?
I'm asking. I'm
Or
just playing
what
devil's
if
advocate. I
White
don't know.
M&Ms
think
bring
that's
back
ego.
a tragic memory, and nobody knows about it because you don't
That's
want to
what I'm
share
saying.
that. Like you don't. It's perspective. Like you don't know why these decisions.
I think
are
it's the
being
way.
made.
Sometimes
Interesting.
there's an old adage that says it's not what you say, it's the way you say it.
Interesting. Good too.
So if I'm coming off like this bitch, go ahead, talk about Mariah Carey.
I guess, and I'm not saying that Mariah Carey is a bitch.
She
was the example I was going for.
She's not a bitch, but she's known to have really
Bitchy and
wild
like
I feel like a
tendencies.
lot of times these talent, these people, and it's not just Hollywood encompasses a lot, you all, whether because there are dentists who are Hollywood out in Hollywood.
for sure.
So I say that to say it's like all these people have had some type of issue that has led them to feel like I need this to satisfy my ego. It's all a lot. Well, a lot of it is
Give me
ego.
an example though.
what does Mariah Carey require? Like,
Mariah usually, back in the day, if I remember correctly, she wanted everything to be white. She only wanted
That's
white
ego.
flowers.
She don't need all that.
How do you know that? Because what if white is specifically a
See, I
mental color
disagree
that
with that.
settles her spirit before she does the show, and for that
I'm
reason
totally
she needs
with
all
And
you,
of
she's
that.
at the point that she can require that, right?
And you,
Okay, that's what I was gonna
demands-
ask.
Totally with
What-
you.
her ass, I bet you her ass used to perform without the room being white.
That's what I was about to
But
say.
she
I
also
don't
wasn't
know.
performing
But it's not-
500 road shows in 300 days of a year. So
Yes.
it's
And I don't think
the
it's
So that's what I'm
demands
saying. As
have
the bigger you
increased.
get, the more you have.
But the bigger you get, also the higher the demands are on whatever your talent is.
True.
So
Okay, true.
don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's people that come up with random
See,
stuff.
I
that,
think it depends. I think,
But I think we
only,
judge easily.
only you can, because it is perspective. We're looking at it, we're on the outside, looking in, making assumptions. But I think you have to constantly monitor and check your heart. You know, it could be, you laughing.
Because I remember, I think it was Johnny Cash. It was somebody who's writer. Do you know what they wanted?
What?
A coat rack. Coat rack. I think it was some beer, and that was it.
but that's like
Yeah, but
me.
what does
But that's
that
like me
say,
versus
though?
Sheree. Like we're super famous and amazing. Maybe Sheree wants everything blue and irises and beautiful
Then
stuff.
she's also-
and
then
then
she
I'm
has a
like,
big ego,
I
and
just
then when
want
you-
a bottle of champagne and a coat rack.
Then you
Like,
don't have
So
a big ego.
that makes you have a small ego. She still wants something.
Look,
though.
can I give you an example?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's different.
I go and I do motivational speaking. I speak for churches and charities and stuff. I work with whomever the entity is. If I have a writer, I have certain specifics. Now, if they can't do that, I'm going to work with you.
Yeah.
If you can do that, then
you do that.
accommodate.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is what it has to be. I think it really is a matter of the heart. Let me be Oprah famous, even Wendy Williams famous. What?
But
I'ma need
because you got a
X,
big
Y, Z.
ego.
But I like beautiful things. So if I can, if it's not, I don't want to put anybody out. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to take anybody's last. But yes, I also think you have to have a healthy understanding and perception of your worth. And sometimes you have to demand that people honor that. Because
I mean,
you don't think some of it is
I don't
sort of-
think that's ego.
Do you think some of it's a
Oh, you
requirement
don't
of the
respect
industry
me.
though? Like
That's
No,
interesting.
because
It's
this is the thing. I've seen clients. This is so funny. I've seen clients where I see it happening, where they see
When
like,
the twist?
oh man, yeah, where it turns like, oh wait, who paying? Oh, I need first class. I need this.
That's
I need
wrong.
that. It may be
I
wrong,
don't like that.
but most of this is ego. It's just ego. It's not a requirement. They don't need it. They just see the opportunity. It's like it's turning on.
Is that an ego or is that?
how?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
like I feel
Ego
like
how?
because the thing is like I said, if
their
Mariah
sense of
was-
self is becoming inflated
bigger.
because
they're working harder, they're pushing forward. I don't know. I'm
these
putting
are
plain
people
up.
who, honestly, the people who I've seen do this, where I'm like, this is just a micro. I mean, is it micro or the macro? They ain't working no harder. This is just what they
The more
want. They
people
want
care,
it.
more
People
people
want
see
to
it.
be treated like kings and queens. If I could step off the stage right now and two women just appear where I could, and every time I
gonna
take a
wash your
step,
body?
no,
Why
no,
I think it's
every
coming
time I
to
take a
America?
step, there's a woman on her back.
dropping pedal.
And then when I finish, there's like
You get on my
5
nerves.
security guards outside just pushing people out my way.
That's because you're
If I can snap my fingers, that's how
you just
it
nasty.
happens.
You're just a freak. I don't know, freak and ego. I don't know.
Is that you? Yeah.
Just pushing people down. Just move. Demetrius is coming.
Why do you gotta push them down? Like, why can't they just stand there and make
that's-
them
You're
happy?
right.
That's
I want them to push him down. Then I want to kick
That's
him.
ego.
Get the hell out of Demetrius' way.
That's ego. See, that's going too far. That's going too far.
That's terrible.
You do have a big ego. You will hurt
He
people.
said push
in
them
a power
down and
position.
kick them. Not just protect me from being attacked by them.
Demetrius
Push
is
them
a
down
bad
and kick them.
But I
Oh
want
my
to talk
gosh.
about this next picture. We have hers,
Oh,
his,
forgive me.
and his ego. So you kind of brought up something. Let's talk about ego in relationships. Is that sexy to you guys to have?
Unfortunately.
That was a small. Say it out loud. What'd you say? She said,
So it is sexy for a man to have a big
What?
ego.
Can we ask the woman too? Is it sexy for a woman to have one?
Is it sexy?
Is it sexy that a woman has ego?
Do you find me sexy? Don't answer that. Don't answer
Why did you
that.
frown?
Right. I'm like, it's
Right,
not.
it was
Is
disgusting.
it? No,
with the
I don't.
question.
No, I don't think I like confidence in women. I don't necessarily love like women with big egos. Like, I don't understand how, like, for me personally,
What's the
I
difference?
would
That's
not
all.
date.
I'm letting
You
him
didn't
finish.
tell
'cause I'm-
us.
Okay,
What's
it's
the
like
difference?
Mariah Carey versus Beyonce. We don't think Beyonce has a huge ego.
We
do
don't?
we?
I don't think
We
she
just don't see it.
But we think Mariah Carey does, whether she does or not, because I don't know the woman. But let's assume that she does. I'm not attracted to that in Mariah Carey. I like Nick Cannon stayed married to Mariah Carey for a while. A lot of people, we've had these discussions, and we say, I don't know how he did that. I really don't know how he did that. For me, that's like a 2-week thing. But
Yeah,
for
yeah.
him, you
But
know,
why would
I
she?
couldn't do
Why
it.
does she do it with you then? Because you've been saying you have a huge ego, but somehow yours is sexy and hers isn't.
Well, yeah,
that's
well,
okay.
it's
Well,
a
I
difference,
mean-
you know.
It's a difference.
You should ask Courtney though, because she likes men with big
That's good
egos.
old fashioned sexism, right
That's
there.
all I was going to say.
It
It's
is
covered up in
definitely
cuteness.
sexist. But I feel
Yeah.
like there's many more men floating around with big egos than women. Like, so it just sort of happens from a numerical standpoint. But
Sure.
it definitely can be a turn off to a certain point. But like, if it's
Yeah.
a big ego that can be checked and finds its checked moments.
Like I
Because
have two screws. I got ego and I got humility. I feel like they're both on 10, and they just kind of balance.
Because like
each other
Donald
out.
Trump's ego makes him look stupid. So like I feel like at that level, like nah, I
That's a
can't do
good
that.
point.
But if you still are intelligent and able to make great decisions, but you have a gravitas about you that like it's, I think that's hot, and I think women think it's hot too.
Why can't they just be confidence? Why not?
Yeah.
You know, because I
Well,
think confidence is sexy, of
Confidence
course.
is sexy, but there's a next level of confidence that's a gravitas. Like it's elevated.
And I know what you're saying.
Interesting.
I can't put it into words, but I know what you're
Yeah.
saying. So let me ask you this. So when you see that in your man, do you have an obligation to feed it?
Feed it.
Ooh,
I'm a jerk,
that's-
so I'm gonna say no to that.
But you like it.
I like it, but I also like to cut it.
That I can mess with it.
Now, this
Right.
is the thing. This is the
Right.
thing. This is
Right.
the thing. Now, real talk.
Right.
I've never dated any woman that did not say, "Let me cut your ass."
Right,
A little
right.
bit.
Are they still
Right.
married?
Are they still married? Yeah. They got married
to the same guy?
I'll never forget. It was a comedian at the Improv. Forget his name, and he was saying like, yeah, I'm dating this girl, and every time she be trying to put me in check, she's like, yeah, I see you out here doing your little comedy, got your little car, and he was like, damn, are you taking my dreams? But my woman
harsh.
does have an obligation to kind of help me keep it in check, and
Yes.
I've benefited tremendously from dating women that did do that, so I don't go out here like Donald Trump.
There's a balance though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also feeding it a little bit.
Yes.
But
Yes.
keeping you in check, because
Yes.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Think about if you are at the top of your game, you know, whether it be a professional athlete, a successful actor, whatever it
Doctor,
is,
whatever.
doctor, successful entrepreneur. When you come home, it's hard to just be reduced. You know what I mean? When you just have people constantly idolizing you and putting you on a pedestal, then you come home and it's like, they're gonna take out that trash.
But take out the trash, though. Like, it's not, I mean, you're here with somebody, you're sharing your life with somebody. That's one thing. And that's why I'm saying about a woman, too, because I know that whoever I'm going to be with, there will be a confidence. I'm not planning on dimming down. And I would hope that you think that's just as sexy as I would think your confidence would be. That would be, you
but
know.
we're talking about the difference between. I want you to be confident, but I don't want to date the female version of Donald Trump.
But you're not even the male. You're not
No,
even.
I would like. But I'm not looking for a woman with an ego. I'm looking for a woman with confidence. Now,
When do you know she's crossed the line? When do you know, okay, I thought she had confidence. Tell me what confidence looks like, and then it's like, oh, okay, wait a second. Now,
It's
this
too
is not
much.
confidence, this is ego.
okay, this is not my story, but I know of a person who was dating someone, and she wasn't at the level that he was.
Financially?
No. In career wise.
Okay.
And so what she would say to him is, I could do what you do better than you, and wanted him to acknowledge that.
She was competing with him.
Right. And so when that competition comes into play, you can tell that's more ego coming out than confidence.
I do
Because I'm
agree
not
with that. I do
you're not
agree with that.
competing with me.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've had those instances where I felt somebody was competing with me. And I'm like, this is not what I want.
That's not hot at all. Ugh, I do not want to compete with my man. Like, no, it
And
doesn't
it's
feel good.
disrespectful.
Is it on both ends,
I
right?
think it's disrespectful. You know, because you always want to, and like you said, we did the love languages last week. words of affirmation. And most men need words of affirmation.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't need to reduce him. You understand? The world is going to do that.
Yeah.
Think about it. No matter how successful you are, you've had to go through adversity and just break through ceilings and doors to get where you are. So you know that side of it.
The women
But at
that-
the same time,
Go
I'm not
ahead.
going to just completely feed you. No, when
Right,
you get
yeah.
home,
Right.
like, come on, I'm going to check you when you're, but in
yeah.
a respectful way.
Yeah, and when we talk, I have found that the women that I have dated have stopped me from going out in the world and saying stupid shit. I
appreciate you, ladies.
And I listen to women, whether it's somebody I'm dating, the women in my life, and I'll say something like, hey, let me get your feedback.
You know you say some stupid shit on the show, though, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that stupid shit that has already been vetted, and I have disregarded the advice and said, I'm gonna say it.
I'm gonna stay this too.
Anyway.
That's
But
unfortunate.
the shit that don't make it to the show, oh my God.
I need that notebook. I need
Oh
the
my
notebook of the stuff that
God.
doesn't make it.
You need to do Insta
That's
stories
interesting.
so you can
Right.
know what's going
Tell
on.
us anyway.
No.
I was just on his Insta story last night too.
What do you guys think about, because
Riding little things in the mall.
Right, cracking me up.
we were talking about some of the signs of an overinflated ego. A conversation is always about that person, the one that's doing the talking. Rebellion, very disagreeable. You say the sky is blue, they say no, it's not, it's green. What else? The rules don't apply to you.
Can I ask a
Yes.
question? So I noticed that I love conversation, and sometimes when somebody gives you a story and you relate it back to them, to yourself, I'm like, am I being like self-centered or whatever? I do that a lot more than I thought I did. Like I've started to listen to the conversation, active listening. So she'll say something or he'll say something, and I'll be like, yeah, that happened to me too. And then all of a sudden you're talking about yourself, and you're like, and I just want to know, is that? But it relates.
You
And
gotta be careful.
Oh my
with
God,
that.
we agree.
It's not that I'm not saying I do it all the time, but it's something that when I do it, I notice I'm like, am I being a certain way? And so I like quickly bring back the story to them, but I just was wondering, what do you guys think? Is that I'm growing on the show.
I'm gonna
are.
start charging you for life
For life coaching.
That's all I'm saying.
You know what? It's just I'm the youngest, and I feel like I love it. Is
So what you have to be careful with.
I
that.
peep it though. That's
Yeah.
what I
But
do.
the fact
I'm
that
like,
you're aware of it is
oh
like
yeah,
a big
because I
deal.
mean, you like to listen, and someone's like, I want to tell you the story, and you're like, oh my God, that happened to me too, and you're like, oh, they don't care. They were trying to tell me the story. So I didn't know if everybody else did that or.
Yeah.
You gotta
but
let them
yeah.
finish their story arc. That's Hollywood.
Story arc.
And then you can bring in your
chime
movie.
I like that.
So let them play their movie. And then you can play
Especially if
your
it's a
movie.
good friend,
Of
because that is the
course.
worst thing ever.
Of
When you have a
course.
good friend and you really trying to get something out, and all they can do is, "Oh my God, and me too."
Yeah,
no, that's not
I
what I
know,
asked you.
I know.
I'm trying to share.
I know.
Ego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That.
One
I
of
think
our
that's a
people,
song, Mr. Me Too.
people that don't say, I say, ain't no sorry. People that don't say sorry.
Let me tell
Yeah,
you.
that's not good.
I've
me
known,
tell
there's
you.
some people that I've known, I ain't gonna name no names.
Name
I've
them.
known
They're
for
fun.
over 20 plus years, and I've never heard I'm sorry come out of their mouth. Certainly in 20 plus years.
Have they
you
said I
don't-
apologize? Or?
No.
But do they? Okay.
Ain't
What
no
about like if
sorry.
they do things to
See,
demonstrate?
That's
I'm sorry.
yes, and I think that what we have to do is we can't
Everybody's
always look for
different.
it. Listen, seriously, that's an amazing point. You can't always look for it to come back in a specific way.
Exactly.
I think you have to see beyond the words. I think you do, but it's nice to the people that can't say I'm sorry. You should. And parents, that's another thing I have, because parents have egos too.
Yeah, they do.
And they will not say sorry to their children
They sure
because they
won't.
feel it diminishes their position or
Right,
whatever.
right.
That's true.
I have
That is
sat my
so
son down,
true.
looked him in his face, and said, I apologize, son. Will you forgive me? That paves the way for so much healing and peace, and it really does. My position is solidified in his life. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with saying sorry. But some people can't do that because of pride and ego.
The one thing that I hate worse than an apology is a non-apology.
Oh, I'm
That-
sorry, but
I'm sorry if I offended. I'm sorry,
But that's
but
not an apology.
I don't want to hear that. What I want, if you apologize to me, what I want to hear you say is, I'm sorry, I was wrong, it won't happen again, or I will do what I can to make sure it don't happen
I have
again.
a question
Yeah.
about that.
And she's like, but
You can say I apologize
What
and use the word
if,
sorry. too.
because what if in a very honest space, because this has happened to me a couple times, I am sorry for sure that whatever feeling you had about it or whatever place it put us in, like I did not intend or want that to happen. But for me to say, I am sorry, I was wrong, I don't actually believe that as honest and true. And I have a really hard time of saying, like, I have a difficult time when it's like, I have to say that I'm wrong if I don't actually believe it. When I'm wrong, and I have a conscious, like, oh yeah, that wouldn't, I'm okay saying
So
that, but
you
there's been a
equate-
couple times.
So you equate saying I'm sorry as you being wrong.
If I'm saying, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I didn't mean to do that. But he, like, because he's saying there's
But why can't you
qualifiers on
just
a
say,
sorry.
I'm sorry?
But I'm apologizing.
Can you say? But I think she's saying she doesn't like what I want is the 3-part apology. I'm sorry,
you
I
want-
was wrong, and then won't do it again.
Because I do
can you
believe
just say
there's
I'm sorry
instances-
though?
I can say I'm sorry, but I also don't want there to be
Can
a
you say it with-
miscommunication.
Okay, can you say I'm sorry without adding
That is
any
ego.
but
though.
or
Yes,
definition?
I can say I'm sorry
You know
and just
that's-
let it go.
What's
but
ego?
That's ego.
What's ego?
Because you have to hear the words "I was wrong." So you,
I can honestly, I can even deal without the I was wrong if they say I'm sorry and it won't happen again.
what if it happens
what if it could?
again?
Because what if you are just diametrically opposed and like you're just not going to be on the same page about
Then
something?
you
but
know
I
what?
never wanted you to
You know
feel
what?
that way
You
or
need-
hurt you.
Okay, let me. You need to lie then. If you go, you just need to lie.
Lord Jesus.
Just lie.
See, that's that ego.
Because what's gonna happen is we're gonna end up litigating the entire matter again about why you was wrong. And most times, people be wrong. So
No.
just say it.
No.
Just say it or lie to me.
That's
I don't
not
care.
true.
it's hard for me to say I'm wrong if I don't really believe that I'm wrong.
'Cause I don't
But it's
lie.
not hard for me to say I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Because it paves the way, like I said, for peace.
Then
in
what you sorry
relationship
for if
and-
you wasn't wrong?
Because
I hurt your feelings.
I-
you
exactly,
or upset you
exactly.
or
caused you pain or
Yeah.
whatever in some kind of way, and I am sorry. I have to own I did something. It wasn't
That
my
made you
intention,
feel-
but it doesn't
uh-huh.
matter what my intention was. It made somebody I care about
'Cause, okay.
feel in a way
I
that
think
I
that's
didn't.
so
Because
important.
sometimes, okay, I get
we're just
that.
never going to
I get
agree
that.
on
So
some
important.
things, but that doesn't mean I'm not sorry that we're
I get
in the
what you're
place that
saying.
we're in.
Yeah.
I think it's
that's
tough,
an
but it's
exception sometimes.
right.
Possibly. Not often, but.
Lord have
Sometimes.
mercy. Okay, we got 2 minutes left. Give us our Halo Award, Demetrius.
Oh man, okay, you got to help me pronounce this. Okay, first off, the Halo Award really goes to someone, in my opinion, that just did something really great, and they deserve. If they make it to Judgment Day, that's a check in their box. So this, how you pronounce that?
What is it? Quelo?
Quelo?
Quicole? Okay.
Quicole?
Okay, Chris, is it Chris? I think it's
Somebody's gonna
Chris
fry me
Quay.
up for that.
I know, because you're.
Don't finish your
All
sentence.
right. Okay.
I know exactly.
You know what I was about
Don't
to say.
finish it.
Okay, so Chris Quicole.
That is definitely not it.
It's not because there's no N.
Quicole? Whatever the case.
Spell it. Just spell it.
It's
This is embarrassing for
K-W-E-K-O-W-E. A 23-year-old.
Quicole.
Yeah, Quicole. Okay. He's a 23-year-old
How did we get more
Nigerian
time on the clock?
who had the opportunity to take his skills to Microsoft and leave Nigeria and be a software engineer, but instead he decided to stay in Nigeria and found a job site to help young Nigerians find jobs. I think it's called Slate Code. And then he did the boss move of meeting Bill Gates himself and letting him know that he turned down the job, which then exposed him to a world of other people who had been sharing this story for a few weeks. And I just thought it was really
That's a
great
good
that he decided to
story.
stay home and help.
Make a difference at
Yeah.
home.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Super awesome. That's a good Halo Award.
Yeah.
Great. Kudos to Chris, whose last name we can't pronounce, but
Ignore us and forgive
kudos to
us.
you. That is awesome. All right. So I think this is our show on ego.
Do you?
What? Do I what? Do I what?
Are you attracted to men with egos?
Yes,
Ooh.
for sure. Look at her face.
She knows she.
Really?
She like, and then she
like,
would
we-
fight,
It's
and then
like
both
the guy
be up there with egos.
That's the thing. We like the guy or the girl we can't get, but then we want them, and then the person that we can't get, you know what I mean? The one that's easy.
That's the other
We
reason
we
that
ignore
I
them.
think-
You know what
You
my
get all
thing
of
is?
them.
You know what I'm saying?
They're
thing
all
is,
gettable.
Have an ego,
Don't play.
but don't diminish me.
Sure.
Don't have an ego at my expense.
Oh,
I'm on your team.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
real
Like,
talk.
it is very important for me to be considered an equal. Different function, different responsibility, but an equal.
Yeah.
So the minute you take your ego to look down on me, which really is what we mean when we say ego, I got an issue.
Yeah.
Courtney has
Yeah,
ego
that
too.
works.
I just,
Yeah,
we just found
no,
it.
Courtney definitely has
I
ego.
just heard it. But I agree. I
She
agree.
said they're all gettable.
And that's how I feel.
to me.
That's my ego.
So what's your takeaway?
That was confidence. It's not ego to me.
My takeaway is that Courtney has a humongous ego.
Courtney, what's your takeaway? We got 20 seconds,
I
girl.
can't stop laughing. My takeaway is that it's all on a spectrum and we're all somewhere on there. And the goal is to find the happy medium, not to be an extreme on anyone.
Yes.
They say you got like 6 seconds.
Humble yourself. Okay? Humble yourself.
That's sweet.
That's it. I think humility is the counter.
At all points.
Is the the key to dealing with an overinflated
It's the
ego.
key to greatness, people.
And that is our show. We thank you so much for joining
thank
us.
y'all. Hey,
Eat,
anybody
pray,
wants to
live,
be the
ego.
women I step on and the guys that push people down, let me know.
Lord have mercy.
He's applying for jobs.
If y'all are watching, it is Eat, Live, and Pray. So
I thought it was Eat, Pray,
Eat, Pray, and
Live.
Live. Lord have mercy. I'm a little
We're not
dyslexic
eating
today.
enough. We need to get food in here.
Yeah.
Pray.
Where are
you,
Pray,
Demetrius?
Pray for Demetrius.
Pray for him,
Yes,
y'all.
pray that I get them people to step on and them
Eat good.
my pushers
Pray constantly.
Cheers.
Live boldly.
clear the way.
You know,
You know?
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Christie, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.